Namaskar, a very good morning to all of you. We welcome you all in 13th episode of this Tribe Talk. Now I request Professor Vijay, who is our national coordinator for this Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, to deliver inaugural address. Sir, please.
Yeah, so thank you, Rahul. Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is a flagship program of Ministry of Education, Government of India, and we are now working with all our participating institute, means all our colleges in the country, whether they are with UGC or AICT or centrally funded by the Ministry of Education. तो अभी आप देखिए कि पूरे देश भर में लगभग सारे IIT, NIT, IIM, सेंट्रल इंस्टीट्यूट, एग्रीकल्चर इंस्टीट्यूट आर वर्किंग विथ उन्नत भारत अभियान, और वो अपने आसपास के हर इंस्टीट्यूट अपने आसपास के 5 गांव को साथ में लेता है और अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, अपने फैकल्टी मेंबर्स को उनके लिए उपयोग करता है कि किस तरह से हमारे गांव वालों को हम सक्षम बनाएं, और जो उनके स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनके फैकल्टी मेंबर्स हैं, वो जब गांव में जाते हैं तो गांव वालों के साथ जब बातें करते हैं, उनकी प्रॉब्लम को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो पता लगता है कि जो टेक्स्ट बुक्स हैं, जो किताबें हैं, उसमें वो ज्ञान ही नहीं है, वो समझ ही नहीं है। हमारे जो एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम्स हैं उसमें वो समझ ही नहीं आती, जो कि उनको लोगों से बात करने पे, किसानों के साथ, कारीगरों के साथ, आदिवासियों के साथ बात करने से समझ में आती है। तो इस तरह से पूरे देश भर में ये जो उन्नत भारत अभियान हम चला रहे हैं, लगभग 3000 कॉलेजेस और लगभग 15,000 गाँव में हमारी उपस्थिति है। हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से हमारे जो शिक्षा का प्रोग्राम है, एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम्स हैं और जो हमारे रिसर्च प्रोग्राम्स हैं, उनको इस तरह से ओरिएंट किया जाए कि वो देश के लोगों के लिए, समाज के लिए और आदिवासी जनजातीय लोगों के लिए मददगार साबित हो। उसी दिशा में ये पिछले कुछ समय से हम लोग अंडरस्टैंडिंग वेरियस मोड्स ऑफ ट्राइबल डेवलपमेंट, प्रोटेक्टिंग देयर इंडिजीनियस कल्चर फ्रॉम एक्सटर्नल इन्फ्लुएंसेस, उसकी ये 13वीं कड़ी है। हम हर कड़ी में ये कोशिश करते हैं कि जो जनजातीय लोगों के साथ जिनका जुड़ाव है, जो इस बारे को अच्छे से समझते हैं, उनके हम आपस में इंटरेक्शन रखवाते हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं और समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि जनजातीय क्षेत्रों में किस तरह से जो बाहर के इन्फ्लुएंसेस हैं वो कम से कम आए, और हम उनके साथ तो कैसे काम करके हमारे जो पार्टिसिपेटिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, हमारी जो कॉलेजेज हैं, हमारे जो विद्यार्थी हैं, हमारे जो फैकल्टी मेंबर्स हैं, टीचर्स हैं, वो जब आदिवासी जनजाति क्षेत्रों में काम करें तो किस तरह से उनको काम करना चाहिए, इस बारे में हम पूरे देश भर में समझ विकसित करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि आज हमारे साथ बड़े ही 3 विद्वान लोग हैं जो इस क्षेत्र में जिन्होंने अपना काम किया है और इसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिया है। सबसे पहले श्री वादेरऊ वीरभद्रुदु जी, जो कि सीनियर IAS ऑफिसर हैं, रिटायर्ड हो गए हैं, और उन्होंने आदिवासी जनजाति क्षेत्रों के लिए बहुत लंबे समय तक काम किया है। उनका हमको आज मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा कि किस तरह से कॉलेजेस को, किस तरह से हमारे विद्यार्थियों को आदि जनजाति क्षेत्रों में काम करना चाहिए। इसी तरह से हमारे साथ श्री शशि रंजन जी हैं, जो कि डिप्टी कमिश्नर हैं खुंटी के, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ झारखंड में, और वो भी क्योंकि झारखंड का अधिकतर क्षेत्र जनजातीय क्षेत्र है, तो उनको भी अनुभव है कि जनजातीय क्षेत्रों में काम करते समय में क्या क्या ध्यान रखना चाहिए, किस तरह से हमको काम करना चाहिए, हमारे कॉलेजेस को, हमारे विद्यार्थियों को, और देश में हम किस तरह से काम कर पाएंगे। साथ में हमारे श्री गोपाल कृष्णा रोनकी जी हैं, वो भी सीनियर IAS रहे हैं, और वो ITDA पादेरू गवर्नमेंट ऑफ आंध्र प्रदेश में हैं। उन्होंने भी जनजातीय क्षेत्रों के साथ बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, और उनका अनुभव का भी आज हमको लाभ मिलेगा कि किस तरह से। तो आज देखिए कि बड़ी सौभाग्य की बात है कि 3 वरिष्ठ IAS ऑफिसर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, जो कि जनजातीय क्षेत्र में ही काम करते हैं, उनके लिए काम करते हैं। तो उनके मार्गदर्शन से मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि हम लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लाभ मिलेगा, और हमें एक नई दिशा मिलेगी कि किस तरह से उन्नत भारत अभियान को और जनजातीय क्षेत्र में काम करने वाली संस्थाओं को इस दिशा में काम करना चाहिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
जी चक्रभूषण जी.
Yes, thank you, sir. So, to moderate this webinar session, we have Dr. G. Sunitha, Regional Coordinating Institutes, Regional Coordinator Unnat Bharat Abhiyan from NIT Warangal. I do request to Professor G. Sunitha to moderate this session. Over to you, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Good morning, one and all. This is Dr. G. Sunithar, Regional Coordinator from National Institute of Technology, Warangal. I welcome all the participants to this webinar, and hearty congratulations for everyone that who are taking actively participation in this webinar. Now I like to introduce uh, Shri Shashi Ranjan, sir, who is a retired IAS officer.
He's serving, ma'am. He's serving.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Sorry. Shri Shashi Ranjan, sir, academically trained as an BTech graduate from IIT Kanpur. He is an Indian Administrative Service Officer from the batch 2014. He is currently serving as Deputy Commissioner of Khunti District, Jharkhand since July 2020. Prior to this, he has served in the following administrative capacities: IG Jailcom CEO Smart City Ranchi, Jharkhand, Development of Deputy Development Commissioner, Dhanbad, Jharkhand, Deputy Development Commissioner, Ranchi, Jharkhand, Assistant Collector, that is IAS Provisionary at Chatra, Jharkhand. His varied experiences has shaped his approach to development issues, which is reflective in every project that is taken up in the district of Khunti. What are when he has taken so many positions, might be he has some highlights in his tenure. Let us look into the highlights of his tenure in Khunti district. So Khunti district is the one of the 112 aspirational districts of the country and had 73.25% scheduled tribes and 91.54% rural population. Under his leadership, the district has seen remarkable growth in various sectors. Specifically in education, the district uh, secured rank 1 in the Delta ranking released by Niti Aayog Champions of Change in February 2021 for addressing the bottlenecks in education attainment. He also spearheaded various initiatives. Some of them are Sapna, Sapnong Ko, Sapnong Ki Udan, starting IIT and medical coaching for around 85 girls from Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, Delbo School Tebuo, Our School Cheli, a massive campaign as an attempt to bring children back to school post-COVID, integrated livelihood farm park, transformation of uh, Latratu Dam, among other projects. So it is my pleasure to introduce the guest today, and over to you, sir.
And thank you, Professor Vijay, for inviting me to as a guest lecturer in Bharat Abhiyan series. And it's my privilege to communicate with you people and communicate with thousands of people who are listening us right now. And it's a really a matter of pride to make you aware about the what is inside the tribal communities and how they are developing right now. What is their organic growth and what is their culture, what is their economic activity, what is their social setup, village setup. Many of people we are not knowing how they are living in the society right now. So I will try to explain both in English and Hindi about the certain things about Khunti and the specific tribe which lives here. So Khunti having a population of 5.3 lakhs, the dominant tribe is like Munda, Oraon, Lohra, Chikbrai, etc. And around out of 5.3 lakh population, around 4 lakh population is of tribal people. So it's a land of tribes, we can say. And when we discuss about the tribal development or tribal anything is related with the tribal, the first name come in our mind is Dharti Aba Bhagwan Birsa Munda, whose birthplace is in Khunti district, Ulihatu. Apart from Bhagwan Birsa Munda, few leaders which are well known around the globe is Jaipal Singh Munda, who was the member of the Constituent Assembly during the formation of our Constitution, and also the Gaya Munda, he is a freedom fighter during the freedom struggle. So when we discuss about the Birsa Munda, Bhagwan Birsa Munda, we are discussing about his famous Ulgulan. Ulgulan was the fight with the oppressors or Britishers against their culture, against the protection of their culture. So Ulgulan happened during the period of 1875 onwards. So these Munda types are very near to nature, and their all social, religious, cultural, and economic activity revolve around the nature only. So whenever we discuss about the festival, the village setup, their economic activity, all we feel what we find कि वो कहीं ना कहीं नेचर से, प्रकृति से लिंक करके करते सारा काम करते हैं वो। इस संदर्भ में जो हमने एक देखा जो विलेज सेटअप होता है इनका, द विलेज सेटअप ऑफ द दिस मुंडा ट्राइब्स इज लाइक कि द विलेज में द प्रधान ऑफ विलेज इज कॉल्ड मुंडा, एंड 5 से 10 मुंडा गांव को मिलाकर के एक मानकी मुंडा बनते हैं। और मुंडा के जितने भी इंफॉर्मेशन जो लोगों को तो पहुंचाने होते हैं उसकी डकुआ की सिस्टम होती है, डाकुआ जो होते हैं वो सब जगह पे इंफॉर्मेशन देने का काम करते हैं। और मुंडा का जो मेन काम होता है गांव के विलेज के अफेयर्स को मैनेज करना, सेटल द लैंड अराउंड द विलेज की किसी को लैंड की आवश्यकता है और जीएम लैंड है, लगान पाने का काम भी मुंडा करते हैं। जो खुटकट्टीदार जो एरिया होता है, खुटकट्टी एरिया होता है, अभी भी वहाँ पे 1932 खतियान के अकॉर्डिंगली जो मुंडा ट्राइब्स होते हैं वही हमारे मुंडा ट्राइब्स ही रेंट कलेक्शन ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ गवर्नमेंट करते हैं और वो फिर गवर्नमेंट को रेंट रिसिप्ट जमा करते हैं। इसी तरह से जो मानकी मुंडा होते हैं जब 4-5 गांव के पंचायत के फॉर्म में वो डिसीजन लेते हैं, और इनका जो गांव में जो गांव में जो व्यवस्था होती है कि एक प्रीस्ट मैन होते हैं, उनको पाहन कहा जाता है। पाहन इज टेकिंग पार्ट इन ऑल द ऑस्पिशियस एक्टिविटी। जो हमारे विलेज के ही पार्ट होते हैं, 2 इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट होता है, एक सरना स्थल, एक मसना स्थल। सरना स्थल इज लाइक द रिलीजियस प्लेस वेयर दे यूज्ड टू गो एंड द वर्शिप द नेचर, एंड द मसना स्थल इज द ग्रेवयार्ड particularly where they put their near and dear one after the death। तो ये उनका विलेज सेटअप होता है। विलेज में और भी एक्टिविटीज होती और भी चीजें होती है जो एक अगर हम माइन्यूटली स्टडी करें तो और भी चीजें निकल के आती है। इसके बाद हम आते हैं इनके जो रिलीजियस एक्टिविटी होते हैं। जैसे रिलीजियस एक्टिविटी में जो 4-5 एक्टिविटी होती है, कल्चरल फेस्टिवल एक्टिविटी जो कर सकते हैं कि जो 4-5 होती है, इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, एक माघे, फागु, सरहुल, सोहराय, कर्मा। तो ये सब जो है ये एक्टिविटी ये सिर्फ ये नहीं दर्शाती है कि ये त्योहार फेस्टिवल मना रहे हैं, ये इनके जॉय एंड इनके इंगेजमेंट को शो करती है। इनके जो एक्चुअली ट्रैवल एरिया में अभी भी सोशल बॉन्डिंग बहुत ज्यादा होता है, लोग एक दूसरे के हर एक काम में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं। तो जो हमारा सरहुल होता है या सोहराय होता है या फिर करम होता है या फागे होता है या माघे होता है, तो इसका डिफरेंट टाइमलाइन होता है कि कब से कौन से फेस्टिवल ये किए जाते हैं, मनाए जाते हैं और इस फेस्टिवल का क्या इंपॉर्टेंस होता है। जैसे कि अगर आप हिंदू फेस्टिवल में या फिर आप मुस्लिम फेस्टिवल में, क्रिश्चियन फेस्टिवल में जब नाम लेते हैं तो वो किसी न किसी अपने जो गॉड्समैन होते हैं उनसे लिंक करते हैं, बट इनके जो सारे फेस्टिवल है वो उनको नेचर से ही लिंक करते हैं, प्रकृति से ही लिंक करते हैं। तो इम्पोर्टेंस ये होता है कि वो अभी भी अपने को प्रकृति का ही अंग मानते हैं, उनकी सारी एक्टिविटी प्रकृति के अराउंड ही रिवॉल्व करती है। उनका जो ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ भी होता है वो नेचर को लेके ही ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ होता है। तो हमने इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद जो पॉलिसी अपनाई थी कि आइसोलेशन वाली पॉलिसी, तो आइसोलेशन वाले पॉलिसी में हमने बहुत ज्यादा लोगों को मेन स्ट्रीम में एसिमिलेट नहीं किया था, ट्राइबल पीपल को। तो अभी भी बहुत सारे ऐसे एरिया है जो मेन जो इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है उससे कट ऑफ ही रहते हैं। तो अभी भी जो इनकी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है मेनली एक तो चावल की खेती करते हैं, खरीफ क्रॉप कल्टीवेशन करते हैं, उसके अलावा ये लोग माइनर फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस पे बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंडेंट रहते हैं। माइनर फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस में मतलब जैसे इमली हो गया, चिरौंजी हो गया और साल सीड्स हो गया, ये सब चीजें हो गई। और ऑफ द लेट अभी जो है एक नया ट्रेंड देखने को मिला है पिछले 10-15 सालों में कि ये लोग लाख का प्रोडक्शन भी काफी ज्यादा करते हैं। साथ में सेरिकल्चर में भी इन्होंने एक अच्छी एंट्री की है, लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है और लोगों को उसमें एंगेज किया जा रहा है। तो ये इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है जो धीरे धीरे कहीं ना कहीं एक सोशल स्ट्रैटा को जो है आगे की दिशा में ले जा रही है। जो हमारा डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए था आज से बहुत साल पहले, वो डेवलपमेंट कहीं ना कहीं अब पुश हो रहा है, चीजें को ग्राउंड पे होते हुए नजर आ रही है। अभी जो हम लोग का जो करंट स्टेटस है, जब हम बात करते हैं लोगों के साथ जब बात करते हैं, तो सबसे पहले जो हमें बात करने का तरीका है और जो कम्युनिकेट करने का तरीका है, और सही तरीके से अगर हमें कम्युनिकेट करना है तो हम इनके ग्राम सभा में ही जाते हैं। ग्राम सभा ये लोग वीक में एक दिन रखते हैं, थर्सडे को या फ्राइडे को या मंडे को, और मॉर्निंग में 8 बजे गांव के सभी लोग वहां जुटते हैं और गांव के में एक सामूहिक डिसीजन किसी भी चीज को लेकर के लिया जाता है। तो अगर हमें कोई भी डिसीजन, जैसे एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दूं कि अब जो वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव चल रहा था तो बहुत ज्यादा इनिशियल फेज में बहुत ज्यादा रेजिस्टेंस देखने को मिला था कि लोग रेजिस्टेंस लेना नहीं चाहते थे। तो उस समय हमने पूरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को मोबिलाइज किया था और ग्राम सभा के माध्यम से लोगों को कम्युनिकेट करने का काम किया था। इनफैक्ट इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में ही जब हम बात करते हैं तो जो स्वीप एक्टिविटी हम लोग करते हैं, जो जब हम लोग मतदाता जागरूकता अभियान चलाते हैं, तो सबसे पहले भी गो टू द दिस ग्राम सभा, और ग्राम सभा जाकर के लोगों से ही बात करते हैं, कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं, और उससे एक ट्रस्ट बिल्डिंग होता है लोगों के बीच में। तो जो पहले के जमाने में जो ट्रस्ट डिफिसिट था कि ये कि बाहर के लोग हैं, जिसको दीकू बोलते हैं, कि बाहर के लोग हैं, ये हमारे कल्चर को, हमारे सोसाइटी को नहीं समझेंगे, तो हम लोग को फिर फाइनली जब हम लोग गांव में लोगों से जब कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, बात करते हैं, तो एक अच्छा ट्रस्ट बिल्डिंग होता है, कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग होता है, एक नए नए मेजर्स लिए जाते हैं। उनके ही द्वारा, ग्राम सभा के द्वारा ही पारित स्कीमों को भी हम लोग बहुत बार कंप्लीट करने की कोशिश करते हैं। देखिए, 2-3 तरह की चीजें होती है। एक तो प्रायोरिटी होती है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की, प्रायोरिटी होती है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की, एक प्रायोरिटी होती है पंचायत लेवल पे या ग्राम सभा लेवल पे उनके स्पेसिफिक रिक्वायरमेंट की। तो जो हम लोग को स्पेशल सेंट्रल असिस्टेंस के जो पैसे आते हैं, जिसमें जो फंडिंग आती है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से, तो हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं कि जो ग्राम सभा के द्वारा पारित स्कीम्स है उसी को तवज्जो दिया जाए, उसी को प्रायोरिटी में रखा जाए, ताकि उनकी जो लोकल डिमांड्स है उनको, उनकी नीड्स को पूरा किया जा सके। उसी तरीके से जब हम इसके आगे बात करते हैं नए नए इनोवेशंस की, कि किस तरह से हम इनोवेशन कर सकते हैं उनके एरिया में, तो सबसे पहले है कि इनको कैसे हम बेहतर एजुकेशन से, बेहतर हेल्थ सर्विसेज से और बेहतर लाइवलीहुड एक्टिविटी से इंगेज कर सके। बेहतर एजुकेशन के मामले में पहले से तो यहाँ कस्तूरबा गांधी बालिका विद्यालय को चलाया जा रहा है पिछले कुछ सालों से, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे ऐसे डिस्ट्रीट्यूट्स हैं जैसे जिनके पास रहने की व्यवस्था नहीं है, उनके लिए एक अच्छा एवेन्यू है, एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है, जहाँ पे वो एजुकेशन भी ग्रहण करते हैं फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, और उसके बाद वहाँ रहने की व्यवस्था भी रहती है, और एक रहने की व्यवस्था में एक बढ़िया बेहतरीन माहौल रहता है लोगों का कॉम्पिटिटिव एजुकेशन सिस्टम को गेन करने का। लेकिन एक बात जो समझ में आती है कि अभी भी हमारे यहाँ जो इनके लोकल लैंग्वेजेस, जैसे मुंडारी हो गया, इन लैंग्वेजेस की अभी भी का जो डेलिब्रेशन होना चाहिए, इस लैंग्वेज में पढ़ाई होनी चाहिए, उसकी कहीं ना कहीं कमी खलती है ग्राउंड पे। अभी भी हम सिर्फ इंग्लिश और हिंदी माध्यम में ही लोगों को पढ़ाने का काम करते हैं। तो अभी जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई है, उसके अंतर्गत हम लोग कोशिश, जो प्रावधान भी है कि हमारे जो लोकल लैंग्वेजेस है उसको भी प्रमोट करना है, उसको भी आगे ले जाना है। इसके बाद अभी जो एकलव्य विद्यालय का कंसेप्ट आया है, जिसमें हर एक ट्राइबल ब्लॉक जहाँ 50% अधिक पॉपुलेशन ट्राइब्स का है, वहाँ पे जवाहर नवोदय विद्यालय के तर्ज पे एकलव्य विद्यालय का एकलव्य विद्यालय इनॉग्रेशन कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे 600 से लेके 700 के बच्चे, 700 नंबर ऑफ बच्चे रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल में रखे जाएंगे, उनकी पढ़ाई होगी। एकलव्य विद्यालय का कंसेप्ट काफी पायस कंसेप्ट है। हमको लगता है दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ गेम चेंजर इन द rural hinterland, particularly in the tribal areas, because this is for the first time we are targeting the ट्राइबल पीपुल और फॉर देयर एजुकेशन। जो बहुत बार क्या होता है कि हम इनिशियली एजुकेशन तो स्टार्ट करते हैं मदर फादर, बट क्लास 5-6 तक आते आते वो लोग को किसी न किसी एक्टिविटी में, इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी में, मजदूरी में एंगेज कर देते हैं। तो अगर मेरे पास एक क्लब विद्यालय आ जाता है, तो हर एक ब्लॉक से अगर हम 500-600 बच्चों को तैयार करते हैं एजुकेशन के लिए, तो ये एक रिवॉल्यूशन होने वाला है एजुकेशन सेक्टर में आने वाले समय में। तो एक एकलव्य विद्यालय को हम लोग यहाँ एक बिल्डिंग कंप्लीट हो चुकी है, और 6 ब्लॉक है चूंकि खूंटी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, तो 6 बनने हैं, उसमें से 5 का बनने का काम चल रहा है। और नेक्स्ट सेशन में हम लोग मेरे फर्स्ट एकलव्य विद्यालय का इनॉग्रेशन भी स्टार्ट कर देंगे, और वी विल ट्राई टू सी एंड ऑब्जर्व कि किस टाइप का चेंजेस वहाँ पे ऑब्जर्व हो रहा है और किस टाइप का फर्दर इम्प्रूवमेंट की जरूरत है। इसी तरह से अगर हम स्पोर्ट्स में आते हैं तो विल सी कि लॉट ऑफ हॉकी प्लेयर्स, फुटबॉल प्लेयर्स आर कमिंग फ्रॉम दिस ट्राइबल एरियाज। इसका रीजन ये है कि यहाँ की बॉडी एथलीट्स होती है, मतलब लोग यहाँ पे खेल कूद में काफी ज्यादा ध्यान देते हैं। इनफैक्ट जब मैंने जयपाल सिंह मुंडा का नाम लिया था तो ही वॉज द फर्स्ट ओलंपियन टू फर्स्ट पर्सन टू विन ओलंपिक गोल्ड मेडल फॉर इंडिया। तो उस तरह से यहाँ पे मतलब हॉकी का एक अलग ही क्रेज है, फुटबॉल का अलग ही क्रेज है, और यहाँ पे जो जिम्नास्टिक एक्टिविटी होती है उसका भी अलग ही क्रेज है। बट उसको हमको एक सिलसिलेवार ढंग से, टेक्निकल ढंग से अगर हम इम्प्रूव करते हैं, उनको आगे ले जाते हैं, उनका जो फिजिकल रिक्वायरमेंट है, जो अदर टेक्निकल रिक्वायरमेंट्स अगर उसको फुलफिल करते हैं, तो डेज विल बी नॉट फॉर व्हेन वी विल प्रोड्यूस अ ह्यूज नंबर ऑफ लोकल पीपल इन द नेशनल गेम्स। इसी प्रकार से जो हमारे एक इसके अलावा जो हमारा जो इशू होता है, एक हम लास्ट में आते हैं कि दो इशू और बचा हुआ मेरे पास, एक है लोकल लाइट्स, एक है सोशल इल्स। पहले मैं सोशल इल्स पे आता हूँ। यहाँ कुछ सोशल इल्स भी हमारे ट्रैवल कम्युनिटी में है जिसपे हम लोग काफी काम कर रहे हैं। बहुत सारे एनजीओ, बहुत सारे अदर गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आकर के इनमें इंटरवीन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। सबसे पहले इसमें आता है एक डायन प्रथा। डायन प्रथा एक सोशल स्टिग्मा माना जाता है, जिसमें लोगों को कुछ सर्टेन लोगों को डायन मतलब विच हंटिंग के लिए विच हंटिंग के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल माना जाता है, और फिर उस पे उसके लोग सिंदरा करते हैं, मतलब उसको मार देते हैं और गांव के किसी पर्टिकुलर एरिया में जाकर उसकी डेड बॉडी को डाल देते हैं। तो ये बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट टाइम होता है जब ऐसी एक्टिविटी आती है, सामने आती है। तो हम लोग जब इसमें जब रियल इन्वेस्टिगेशन करना स्टार्ट किया कि व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट एंड व्हाई दिस प्रथा इज स्टिल सो मच रिलेवेंट इन द मॉडर्न सोसाइटी, तो पता चलता है कि ये वो वाला सिस्टम नहीं रहा जो पहले लोग सोचते थे। अब इसका एक नया फॉर्म आ गया है। इसमें सोशल इल से ज्यादा इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट लोगों के छिपे रहते हैं। उसमें होता क्या है कि किसी का अगर सपोज कीजिए किसी की फैमिली में अगर कोई मेल बारिश नहीं है, तो लोग कोशिश करते हैं कि उनके जो भाई भतीजावाद होता है उनको कोशिश करते हैं कि किसी तरह से इसको विच हंटिंग में फंसा करके इसको मार करके हम उसकी जो प्रॉपर्टी है, जिसकी लैंड है, उसको हम लोग ले सके। तो इस पे हम लोग काफी सीरियसली काम कर रहे हैं। बहुत सारी चीजों को इसमें एंगेज किया गया है, और इसमें तुरंत इसका ये हो, उसके लिए भी हम लोग जस्टिस हो, उसके लिए भी पुलिस और प्रशासन दोनों मिलकर के काम कर रही है। दूसरा है एक ढुकू प्रथा। ढुकू प्रथा क्या होता है कि आपने अपने ट्राइबल्स के अलावा कहीं और शादी कर ली, किसी और को ले आया है और अपने रिलीजियस सेरेमनी को एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया है, जो उनका सेरेमनी होता है मैरिज सेरेमनी, उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया है। तो होता क्या है कि अगर सपोज मैं हूँ और मैंने किसी से शादी कर ली, उसको घर ले आया, और वो मैंने रिलीजियस सेरेमनी को पूरा नहीं किया है, तो लोग उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते। उसके 3 जनरेशन तक तो लोगों को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते हैं, और जिसके कारण उसको जो लेडी होती है उसको ढुकू के लाइफ स्टाइल में जीना पड़ता है, जिसका सोशल बहिष्कार किया जाता है, और उन्हें कोई लीगल राइट्स नहीं दिया जाता है, इकोनॉमिक राइट्स नहीं दिया जाता है। ये चीजें जब संज्ञान में आई तो इसमें जैसे निमिता फाउंडेशन ने काफी अच्छा काम किया, इसमें मास मैरिजेस करना स्टार्ट किया। आफ्टर जब उनके बच्चे भी जाते तब भी उनका मैरिजेस करवा करके उनको एक लीगल राइट्स देने की कोशिश करते हैं। इसमें ऑनरेबल जस्टिस ऑफ हाई कोर्ट एंड गवर्नर ऑफ झारखंड भी आया था, तो उन्होंने साफ साफ ये क्लियर किया था कि इस तरह से जब हम ढुकू प्रथा के अगेंस्ट में जाकर के लोगों की शादी करवाते हैं, तो लार्ज नंबर ऑफ लोग यहाँ गैदर करते हैं, उनके जो भी लीगल राइट्स है, जैसे उनके लॉ लैंड का राइट है। जैसे ढुकू प्रथा में उनको लैंड का राइट भी नहीं दिया जाता था, घर में भी खाने की जो व्यवस्था होती थी उसके लिए अलग किया जाता था, उनको सोसाइटी से दूर रखा जाता था। इनफैक्ट उनको सरना स्थल में जब जब रिलीजियस एक्टिविटी होती है या जो फेस्टिवल्स होता है उनमें उनको पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करने दिया जाता, ना उनको और ना उनके बच्चे को। और साथ में जो मसना स्थल होता है जहाँ डेड बॉडी को लोग ये करते हैं, डिस्पोज करते हैं, वहां भी उनको डेड बॉडी को डालने नहीं दिया जाता था। तो कहीं ना कहीं उनको पूरी सोसाइटी का ही एक अलग पार्ट आ जाता था। उसी तरह से अब जो दुखू प्रथा जो मास मैरिज हो रहा है, तो हम लोगों ने कोशिश की थी कि लार्ज नंबर ऑफ मास मैरिजेस करें, एक वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बनाने की कोशिश करें। तो अभी लास्ट टाइम हम लोगों ने 1000 मास मैरिजेस करवाए थे, 1000 कपल्स का। वो भी एक गेम चेंजर रहा, चूंकि कोविड था उसमें प्रोटोकॉल हमें निभाना पड़ता है, तो हम लोग एक साथ बहुत ज्यादा नहीं करवा सकते थे, तो हम लोग ने पार्ट बाय पार्ट करवाया था। तो इसमें क्या हुआ कि जितने भी लोग थे उनके पहले तो मैरिजेस करवाया गया, फिर उनके जो मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट है वो इशू किया गया। फिर जब मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट इशू हो जाता है तो उसके बाद अगर किसी का पति का डेथ हो जाता है तो उनको उनको जो विधवा पेंशन वगैरह मिलना चाहिए, जो सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट मिलना चाहिए, वो सपोर्ट भी मिलना स्टार्ट हो जाता है। और दे आर नाउ लीगली empowered enough to take the part in the सरना पूजा एंड द अदर फेस्टिवल्स। तो उसके बाद लोग उसको एक्सेप्ट करना भी स्टार्ट कर देते हैं। तो एक बहुत अच्छा एक सिस्टम डेवलप हुआ है, और मास मैरिज का जो सिस्टम है हम लोग कंटिन्यू करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, ताकि जितने भी ऐसे लोग छूटे हुए हैं उनको किसी न किसी तरह से हम लोग उनको जोड़ सके और उनका सोशल एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी बढ़ा सके। इसका सोशल एक्सेप्टेंस भी चूंकि इस तरह से होता है क्योंकि हम लोग उसको पूरी तरह से रिलीजियस एक्टिविटी के साथ ही जो मैरिज सेरेमनी है उसको कवर करते हैं, तो लोग उसमें ओपनली और विथ बार बार वेलकम करते हैं। तो ये एक अच्छा स्टार्ट हुआ था खूंटी जिले में। इसके अलावा जो लास्ट पॉइंट है कि यहाँ पे जो लैंड लॉज है, किसी भी एरिया में जो लैंड लॉ होता है वो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है उसकी सोसाइटी को समझने के लिए। यहाँ पे छोटा नागपुर टेनेंसी एक्ट है। छोटा नागपुर टेनेंसी एक्ट में जो ट्राइबल लैंड है, ट्राइबल लैंड सिर्फ ट्राइबल्स को ही बेच सकते हैं। ट्राइबल लैंड है अगर डेवलपमेंट के लिए किसी पर्पज के लिए यूज किया जाना है तो ग्राम सभा की सहमति बहुत जरूरी है। ट्राइबल लैंड है तो कोई भी जो सेटलमेंट होता है जीएम खास का ट्राइबल एरिया में, शेड्यूल्ड एरिया में, तो वो सिर्फ ट्राइबल लोगों को ही सेटलमेंट होता है। तो वो सारी चीजें जो होती है इसको हम लोग फॉलो करते हैं। इसी तरह से जब हम लोग फॉरेस्ट राइट देते हैं, फॉरेस्ट राइट एक्ट के अंतर्गत, तो ट्राइबल एरिया को पट्टा निर्धारित किया जाता है ताकि वो अपना जो इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है माइनस फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस के तहत उसको वो लोग पूरा कर सके। इसी संदर्भ में एक मैं यहाँ पे चूंकि खूंटी जिले में बहुत फेमस रहा था पत्थलगड़ी व्यवस्था, और इसके कारण एक बहुत बहुत बड़ी हाराकरी मची थी आज से 2 3 साल पहले। उसमें हुआ क्या था कि हमने अ, यहाँ पे ट्रैवल लैंड का जो लैंड हम बेचते हैं तो एक थाना से दूसरे थाना को नहीं बेच सकते हैं। मतलब एक थाना, मतलब ये एक थाना का जो एरिया होता है, डिमार्केटेड एरिया होता है, उसी थाना के अंतर्गत हम लोगों को बेचते हैं। तो गवर्नमेंट ने इसको चेंज किया था कि दूसरे थाना के ट्रैवल लैंड है, दूसरे एरिया के ट्रैवल पीपल है, वो भी ट्रैवल लैंड को कहीं भी खरीद सकते हैं। तो इसका काफी विरोध हुआ था, और विरोध की जो शुरुआत हुई थी खूंटी में हुई थी। खूंटी में उस समय पत्थलगड़ी सिस्टम को स्टैब्लिश किया गया था। पत्थलगड़ी सिस्टम मतलब ये होता है कि गांव के बाहर वो एक बड़ा सा रॉक लगा देते हैं, उसमें उनके सारे डिटेल्स लिखे रहते थे पहले के जमाने में कि विलेज का जो ट्राइब हेड मैन है वो कौन है, या फिर जो एक्टिविटी होती है क्या क्या एक्टिविटी होती है, और कितना एरिया है, कितने घर हैं, कितनी पॉपुलेशन है। बट अभी उन लोगों ने क्या किया था कि इसका कुछ जो मिसक्रिएंट्स हैं या फिर एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स हैं, उन्होंने क्या किया था कि इसको एज ए यूज कर लिया था धारे की कोई भी गांव में कोई भी अदर इंटरवेंशन गवर्नमेंट का नहीं होगा। कोई भी एक्टिविटी होगी तो गांव के सहमति से होगी, अदरवाइज कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं होगी। और पुलिस और प्रशासन की गांव में घुसने से पाबंदी लगा दी गई थी। मतलब ऐसा उन्होंने डाला था कि पाबंदी लगा दी गई है। फिर एक बार इसी चीज को लेकर के पूरे प्रशासन और जो गांव वाले हैं उसमें एक मिसट्रस्ट भी डेवलप हो गया था, जिसको भी रिकवर करने में काफी टाइम लगा। और पत्थलगड़ी व्यवस्था अभी अभी सो कॉल्ड जो एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट जिसमें एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे थे उनके ऊपर उनके ऊपर एक्शन भी लिया गया। और बहुत सारी चीजों में उनकी जो हेडमैन है, ट्राइब्समैन है, उनको बुला करके एक जो कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग मेजर है, जो ट्रस्ट डिफिसिट कम करने के लिए व्यवस्था है, उस पर ध्यान दिया गया। बहुत सारे जो लोकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हैं उनको आगे लाया गया और उनको समझाया गया। बाद में गवर्नमेंट ने इसको विड्रॉ भी कर लिया था, और चीजें धीरे धीरे खुद से डाई आउट हो गई। तो एक देख सकते हैं कि किस तरह से मिसट्रस्ट को वापस से प्रशासन ने ट्रस्ट के रूप में डेवलप किया, किस तरह से जो सोशल एक्टिविटी है उसको वापस से हमने स्टार्ट किया था, जो इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है वापस उसको रिवाइव किया गया। और आज के दिन में हमारे पास जो JSLPS के थ्रू हम लोग जो अभी SSG ग्रुप बनाते हैं, महिलाओं का सखी मंडल बनाते हैं, और साथ में वर्ल्ड बैंक जो स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम है जिसके अंतर्गत हम लोग तेजस्विनी में बच्चों को स्किल ट्रेनिंग देते हैं। तो एक अपने आप में एक न्यू इंटरवेंशन है। और इसके माध्यम से हम लोगों के साथ बात भी करते हैं, उनको स्किल भी इम्पार्ट करने की कोशिश करते हैं, उनको इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी के नए एवेन्यू भी दिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं। और सारे जो डेवलपमेंट होते हैं उसको हम लोग ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ के माध्यम से ही करने की कोशिश करते हैं। कोई बाहर से एक्सटर्नलिटीज को हम लोग लाने की कोशिश नहीं करते हैं। इसी से हमको लगता है कि आने वाले समय में एक अच्छा डेवलपमेंट, एक अच्छा विकास देखने को मिलेगा, और चीजें धीरे धीरे खुद से ही जो एसिमिलेशन का प्रोसेस है उसको हम कंप्लीट कर पाएंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
it was very, very motivational speech, or you have enlightened us like the positives and negatives of the tribals associated with you, that is in Jharkhand. So it was very nice that the initiations you have developed, means your government has developed, and you are taking such a far ahead so that you remove that all barriers or distractions relating to the developments of these tribals. I wholeheartedly congratulate on behalf of the UBI team. All the best for your future ventures.
Thank you.
Shall I introduce the next speaker?
Yes, please.
Yeah. The next speaker is Gopal Krishna Ronaki IS. He is the project officer of Integrated Tribal Development Agency, Paderu, Alluri Sitaramaraju district. He was an IS officer. He scored like third rank in UPS in 2017. He is a secondary grade teacher. Before he was into IS, he is from Srikakulam district, Parasambha village. He belongs to an agriculture family, and his siblings are one brother and one sister. Brother is working as an SBI branch manager, and he was the person who has writing the UPS examination in Telugu. Namaskaram andi, swagatam meeku. చాలా చక్కగా ఉంది మీరు తెలుగులో రాస్తున్నందుకు నాకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఓవర్ టు యూ సార్. గోపాలకృష్ణ గారు.
Ma'am, Gopal sir will take few minutes, so you can start to Chinna Veerabhadrudu sir. He will take few minutes to join, please.
Shall I give his introduction?
Yes.
Okay. I heartily welcome Chinna Veerabhadrudu sir, IS officer who is retired. He was born on 28th March 1962. His parents were like Venkata Chalpati garu and Satyavati Amma garu. Sir was educated in MA Philosophy from Andhra University in 1985. And he has a very long career path. Let us see the career path of his, your voice. So in year 21-22, he worked as a director tribal welfare before retiring. He retired from the service on 31st March 2022. During his tenure, he has also worked as a secretary AP, Tribal Welfare, Residential Educational Institutions Society, that is Gurukulam. During the short tenure, he got a baseline test conducted for all the students of tribal welfare educational institutions and launched a 101-day fundamental literacy and numeracy program to ensure that the children belong to FLN attain the basic learning outcomes. Also worked in collaboration with Ajim Premji Foundation in ensuring last mile service delivered at various DBT programs taken by the state and central governments in tribal areas. In 2020 and 21, he worked as a director of School of Education and played a crucial role in implementing various programs taken up by the government for strengthening the school education in Andhra Pradesh. The major achievements during the tenure are various high-tech, low-tech, no-tech initiatives taken up for continuing education activity during COVID time, and also reopening the schools gradually and systematically, and ensuring that 70 lakh children pursue their studies in a safe environment in a post-COVID world. Implemented transfers of teachers online for the first time. Around 40,000 transfers were effected transparently. Formulated a comprehensive academic calendar for all the schools in the state government. In 2019 and 20,
Madam,
yes, sir.
I think these two stints are enough. because it's a very long career.
Yeah.
So I think with these two, we can straight enter into the discussion
Yeah, sir.
to save time.
సార్ స్వాగతం సార్ మీకు నమస్కారం. మీ అమూల్యమైన సమయాన్ని మాకు ఇచ్చినందుకు ధన్యవాదాలు. మీరు అంటే చేసిన అచీవ్మెంట్స్ గురించి ఇప్పుడు చెప్పబోతున్నారు. దట్ మైట్ బి అన్ ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ ఫర్ మెనీ పీపుల్ అండ్ వీ మైట్ బి టేకింగ్ ద పాత్ ఆఫ్ యోర్స్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్యూచర్. వెల్కమ్ టు సార్.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm also sorry that I was supposed to participate on 5th, I believe, but because there was some problem, I could not participate at that time. I'm thankful that I'm given another opportunity. I thank Unnat Bharat Abhiyan program and the coordinators, especially Professor Vijay, who has been in touch with me, and he has been very patient in communicating with me and in arranging this program. And I also thank Sunithar for giving an introduction of me and giving me the opportunity to interact. The topic that I am supposed to interact is about understanding various modes of tribal development, protecting their indigenous culture from external influence. This is the topic given. I worked in tribal welfare department. I joined tribal welfare department in 1987. So I completed 35 years of service in tribal welfare. I worked in the United Andhra Pradesh, which is now 2 states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. I worked in the tribal areas of both the states. And I got into IAS at a very late stage in my career. I got into IAS only some 3 years back. And I had the opportunity of working as the Commissioner School Education and State Project Director Samagra Shiksha. Both the opportunities are very valuable for me with reference to tribal education. And just before my retirement, 4 months before my retirement, government gave me a very rare chance of retiring in my parent department, which is not generally the case. So I started my career in tribal welfare and I closed my career path in tribal welfare. I started as the district tribal welfare officer and I ended as director tribal welfare. That's a good career for a person like me because I was born in a tribal village in East Godavari district. So I have been seeing the tribals for the last 60 years. And I had my primary education in my village along with the tribal children. My class 1st to class 5th, I studied in the local primary school. But when I studied there, there were a few tribal children who were my classmates, and none of them has traveled all this way. Only I could travel all the way. This is not something a matter of pride. It is something a matter of shame. Because how I could pursue my higher studies and how my classmates, the poor tribal children, could not pursue their studies. This is a question. What made me succeed in my life, in my career, in my education? And what hampered their career and their pursuance of further education? I have been trying to pose this question, interrogate myself and the system in which I have worked, and I was trying to pose a number of questions to the system, asking why the tribal children are not able to continue their studies, why the dropout rate is very high, why the unsuccessful matriculates are very huge in number among tribal children, and even now why there is not even a single medical doctor coming from the tribal areas, and how it is that there is no IAS or IPS officers from the aboriginal tribes of the scheduled areas of the state. Then what is that actually we are teaching? What is happening in our schools? These are the questions I have been I have engaged myself. for the last more than 3.5 decades. It's a very long story, and a story with a lot of informed by a lot of questions, and I try to find a few answers. But the topic that you have given me today is that tribal development without disturbing the indigenous culture and protecting from the external influence. This is like a direct to principle of state policy. It's not the reality actually. Tribals are under external influence. Tribal areas have been under external influence. Tribal areas have been struggling with their past, with their, tribal areas are now moving towards a culture, moving towards a space where their indigenous culture and indigenous traditions are no longer visible, no longer, we are no longer able to protect them, safeguard them. And the tribals are neither there nor here. They are not conversant with their traditional tribal culture, indigenous knowledge systems, their own way, their own traditional ways of transfer of knowledge. And they are also not really successful with the modern education, the modern schooling, and the kind of education that we are giving them. How do we address these issues? These are some of the questions that I have engaged myself. And in between, in my career, I have also worked as a project officer of an ITDA that is established for one of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups in Andhra Pradesh, the Chenchus. The Chenchus are a hunting and food gathering tribe who have been there for the last so many years. The tribe has been there from the Paleolithic times in the Nalamalai forest of Andhra Pradesh area. And my work with them for almost 5 years has also opened a number of areas concerning the education of the PTGs. How, the government of India have set a criteria of very low female literacy to identify a tribal group as a PTG group. And the PTGs are still lagging behind in literacy, and their female literacy is still abysmally low. And even if the literacy has improved over a period of time, now we have to see their access to post-matric education. The PTGs are still lagging backward, lagging behind the rest of the tribes in with regard to their access to higher education. These are some of the questions. So I tried to find out a few answers. We had a lot of experiments. Some of them were successful and some of them are miserable failures, but we are not really unhappy with the failures because every failure has taught us a new lesson in identifying a better way of reaching the tribals so that their life would be better than what was it yesterday. So I would broadly discuss 3-4 items that we have understood. Number one, the Right to Education Act provides for management and control of the primary schools by the School Management Committee. This is one very important the factor. The local school, especially the primary school, should be under the direct control of the village community. Tribal communities, even though the concept of modern school, the institution of modern school, as we see today, it has a history of only a century and a half. We have seen the first modern school in the tribal areas coming only 150 years back. But there has been transfer of knowledge, transfer of technology among the tribals from times immemorial, for centuries. How it has been happening? It has been happening in the form of the elder community transferring the technology to their children through their regular day-to-day academic activities. So a Chenchu child, even before he was reaching his adulthood, he was conversant with the knowledge of how to make a bow and an arrow, how to go for hunting, how to search the tribal areas, and all these things. He was able to navigate the forest. So these are all the skills required for a livelihood. And those skills were transmitted by the community to the children, younger children, as part of their day-to-day life. So we thought that when the tribal community was able to transfer technology, transfer their knowledge, why do we keep them away? in running our modern schools? Why do you make our teacher and our modern school accountable to the district education officer or the block education officer rather than making them accountable to the local community? So we have tried a number of experiments. One of them was the Aval committee in Adilabad district. In Gondi, Aval means mother. So we have constituted the mother committees, and the mother committees were given the responsibility of monitoring the attendance of the teachers and how whether the teacher is coming to the school regularly or not. These are some of the experiments that we have done, and it has been very successful. There is one very good experiment now being run by the Miss Prema Rangachari in Vidyavanam at Anekat near Coimbatore, where the local community, the Irula tribal community, sits down every month with the school teachers, the children, and they formulate the monthly curriculum, the monthly lesson class for the children. This is something which we can do, which we can replicate across the country, where the local community would sit down, prepare whenever you talk about community participation in education, the education department broadly restricts the participation to management of hardware, management of physical resources. No, I would like to go one step further. Why not the community decides the curriculum? If the community decides the curriculum, then the curriculum would be more tribal friendly, tribal cultural specific, and it would help the children in understanding their culture. There is one NGO in Andhra Pradesh. He has been very vocal and he has been arguing for the last so many years, asking us, why don't you teach the tribal children the knowledge of measuring their own land holdings? Demarcating the boundaries between the revenue land and the forest land, and understanding the forest resources. These are the life skills that a tribal child should be aware of. And our education is far from addressing these issues. So the second step that is required is making the curriculum more tribal related and tribal specific. In this regard, in this direction also, we have started some activity. We have developed headmasters training modules in which we developed a module exclusively on tribal culture. We wanted to orient the tribal teachers, tribal headmasters, or those non-tribal teachers and headmasters that are working in tribal areas and understanding what is tribal culture, what are the core features of tribal culture, what is the psyche of a tribal child, how to approach a tribal child, what are the objectives of tribal education. These are some of the important things that every tribal teacher should know. Every teacher in tribal area should know. So this is the second step that we have done. The third is, as our Deputy Commissioner from Khunti informed, we have also been taking up education in tribal languages. We have developed primers in 6 languages, 6 very important languages. And these primers, earlier we developed the primers in Telugu script with vocabulary from tribal dialect. Now we made them bilingual. The tribal dialect will be in Telugu script, but with an equivalent in English, because the government of Andhra Pradesh is very particular that children should migrate to English medium at a very early stage of their life, so that they will be able to compete globally tomorrow. So we have developed the tribal textbooks in tribal dialects. And recently, just before I retired, I have also developed the FLN modules. FLN is the recent Government of India program, the Foundational Literacy and Numeracy, where children would be undergoing their pre-primary 1, 2 and class 1 and 2 classes. So we have developed a preparatory first class material and pre-primary 1 and pre-primary 2 material in tribal languages, in tribal dialects, 6 tribal dialects. This is the third important thing, which I tell you, which would take the tribal children nearer to their traditions, nearer to their culture, and at the same time, we will be exposing them to the external influences, external culture, external language with due protection. The tribal child has to get exposure to the outside world, but with due protection. The protection is teaching him through his mother tongue, explaining him about his own environment, and also giving him the life skills which are required for him to navigate his day-to-day life in an economy which is largely influenced by the external factors. And the parents committee, we call the school education committee as the parents committee. The parents committee in the tribal areas are now made a very active partner in running of the schools. And we have institutionalized various parameters, various tools by which the parents committee would be able to monitor the day-to-day performance of the school. One of such tools is conducting a monthly parental meeting where the teacher would make a show. He would make the children demonstrate whatever they have learned in the school during that month. The parents would be assembled under the shade of a tree, and the teacher would introduce the children that have attended the school all 100 days, all 30 days in a month, and he would introduce those children who have attended the school regularly, congratulate their parents. Then the children would recite the poems, sing the songs, and read out the textbook lessons, and the progress cards of their monthly exam will be given to the parents. This is one area, this one way by which you will make the tribal community have control over the functioning of a school. And we have also been implementing the midday meal program, the Government of India program, but with a lot of support from the state government. We made the food more nutritious and more healthy. And this program, which we call Jagaranna Goru Mudda, this program is monitored by the village community regularly. Every day they take a photograph of the quality of the food, upload it on the portal of the midday meal directorate. Then the photos are analyzed by artificial intelligence, and wherever the food is not satisfactory, immediately a ticket goes to the headmaster to correct and rectify and report back. Similarly, we have also taken up the school improvement program, infrastructure improvement program, which we call Manabadi Nadu Nedu, which means our school then and now. So in this Manabadi Nadu Nedu, the most important unique feature of this program is the works of development of infrastructure in the school are done by the parents committee only, which means the school education committee. No contractors are there. The entire money is the entire money is released to the parents committee, and the parents committee executes the works. Like this, all these programs, we made the community an active partner. So my suggestion is that yes, tribals are under a terrible. They are now passing through a terrible phase in which where their culture, their environment, their habitats, their life, day-to-day life are under terrible pressure from the external societies, from the non-tribal societies, by various political and economic forces, and especially since we are now in the globalized era, even tribals are under the pressure of forces which they are not able to comprehend or understand. Exactly, because this is the case, we have to ensure that the tribals are protected. They are protected, the protection will be possible by making, especially education. There are various other programs. I am not going into all that because it would take time. I would talk about only education, and education by making not only the three things. One is the development of infra. Second is monitoring the services of delivery of various services to the children. And third, especially monitoring of the academic performance of the children. If these three are done through the participation of the local tribal mothers or parents, then I think we will be able to ensure that the interests of the tribals are safeguarded, and they are not damaged by the external influences. These are some of the experiments that we have done in Andhra Pradesh. And Andhra Pradesh has been a pioneer in tribal development. It has been a pioneer even in tribal education. Even the literacy of Andhra Pradesh is still lagging behind among tribals as far as the quality education is concerned, service delivery is concerned, and also various experiments that I have so far enumerated. I have enumerated only a few, but there are various experiments that have been done in tribal education. AP has been a pioneer, and I am very much grateful for the IIT, for the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, in having the concern about safeguarding the interests of the tribals and to protect them from the damaging influence of the external society. I thank you once again.
You are muted, ma'am. You are muted, please.
Sorry. Thank you, sir, for your valuable information that you have given about the activities that you have undertaken during your tenure in both the states, right? And I really appreciate the hard work you have put and the new initiatives and the government support to develop the students. And recently, it was in the news that uh, Honorable Chief Minister Jagan Garu has suggested like English medium education is mandatory in government schools. It is a very good initiative so that, like you said, they will be competing with the global people at the earlier stages. And might be all of them were enlightened with your speech. And I once again thank you on the behalf of UBI team. ధన్యవాదాలండి. నమస్కారం.
Yes, please introduce Dr. Gopal sir. He is available.
Yeah. I heartily welcome Krishna Ronaki IAS Garu, the project officer of Integrated Tribal Development Agency, Paderu, Alluri Sitaramu Raju district. He was scored top rank in UPS in 2017, and he was working as an secondary grade teacher in government high school before he joined as an IAS. And he is from Srikakulam district, Parasambha village. He belongs to an agriculture family, and his siblings are one brother and one sister. His brother is working as SBI branch manager, and he was the person who has written UPS examination in Telugu. I heartily welcome you, sir, for the presentation. It is very good to hear that you have written your UPS examination in Telugu. I once again welcome you, sir. స్వాగతం అండి గోపాలకృష్ణ గారు. సార్ మీ వాయిస్ వినిపించట్లేదు.
గోపాల్ మీరు మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారు.
No, sir. There is a mute unmute button on your screen, sir. Please unmute.
గోపాలకృష్ణ గారు మీరు మ్యూట్ బటన్ ని అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి సార్. ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఇట్ విల్ రెజ్యూమ్.
Okay, I'm also sending the request. No, sir. Please unmute, sir. Sir, Gopala, sir, we are not able to hear you.
Now it is okay, sir. Please continue. It is okay, please.
No, Chakbhusan ji, आपको उनकी आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, now he is okay. He can continue, please, sir.
Okay, then.
I don't think so. He's audible.
हाँ sir, please continue.
గోపాలకృష్ణ గారు వినిపించట్లేదండి.
Chakbhusan ji, if you are having the number, you can ask him to reconnect. उनको आवाज आ रही है या नहीं आ रही, ये भी क्लियर नहीं है.
Rahul ji, Gopal sir is asking, he is unable to unmute the mic. So can we do something for him from here?
I have already sent the unmute request, but problem is there that he might be joined through some other system. So, sir, if you're getting my sound, please reconnect. Gopala sir, if I'm audible to you, please reconnect, sir. Yeah.
He's asking to wait, sir.
Okay. Chakravartin ji, who is coordinating with sir?
Gopal sir, are you here?
अगर आपके पास नंबर है तो प्लीज कॉल हिम.
Just calling him.
Yeah. Hello, am I audible now?
వినిపిస్తుందండి.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So I am now connecting from my mobile phone.
Great, sir. If you can unmute your video for a while, so it will be good, sir.
Now am I visible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Thank you, sir.
Maybe just something went wrong. I'm very sorry. So for this technical issues and all. So it is a great pleasure to me today to join this session. So very good morning, my director sir and ma'am and all the dignitaries in the video conference and my dear friends. So this is Gopal Krishna, PO ITDA Paderu, erstwhile Visakhapatnam district, now Allur Sitaram Raju district. So I am working as a PO ITDA for the last 11 and a half months. So in this today topic you are allotting me this protecting their understanding of various modes of tribal development and protecting their indigenous culture from external influence. So, sir, in detail explained to the maximum extent in education. So, I want to share some of my experiences in terms of all, not only education, in entire health education and all. So, basically, we are all know that President of India will notify a specific group will be a tribal group basing on the primitive traits, their primitive traits and distinctive culture, geographical isolation, shyness of contact with community, and of course, the basic thing is that backwardness. So this is the criteria to identify a group, uh, tribal group, to a tribal group by the constitution. So ITDA Paderu was established in the year 1975. So the total extent around 11 mandals, 6,000 square kilometers. I think Paderu is the biggest ITDA in the unified Andhra Pradesh as well as now present state also. So it is the area wise, it is bigger than the Sikkim state. So recently we conducted an habitation profile survey basing on that data. So we have around 3,803 habitations and around 6,000, 6,65,000 population and 1,80,000 around households. So in that, main tribal groups are, of course, Bagata, Valmiki, Kondadora, Kotia, Kamara, and Nokadora. These are the ST groups, and other things PTG, Kond, Porja, and Gadaba. These are the primitive tribal groups here. So in the entire in the entire population, the tribes constituted around 94% and 6% of course non-tribes. And in that PTG consisting around 28%. This Kond, Porja, and Gadaba, these groups, these three groups is basically, these are all much more backwardness when compared to the Valmiki, Bhagata, Kondadara and all. So there are so many schemes and projects which are going on for the exclusively for the PTGs also. So in fact, we have one additional project officer PTG exclusively looking after that primitive tribal groups. So in the total we have 244 grama panchayats and around 212 grama secretariat system. This newly introduced by Honorable CM. So in that we have 212 grama sachivalaya sachivalayams. So the main job of the ITDA is that single line administration. Of course, this is the brainchild or whatever it may be of our director, ex-director sir, who just before me shared his experiences. So actually in his tenure, he elaborately given one GO saying that this strengthening of the single line administration in the ITDS. So in that, the main objectives of the ITDA is that identify the problems of and needs of the tribal people and critical gaps in their development and identity all available resources for TSP and prepare a broad policy framework for development and prepare a detailed development wise plan, define a sustainable administrative strategy for its implementation, safety the mechanism for monitoring and evaluation. Apart from that, of course, 33 departments are working under POITDA control. So in that, there are so many activities which are going on for the last for many years. So I wish to explain in a brief mode what are all the activities going on and how these activities are protecting the indigenous culture and tradition of the tribal people, and of course the challenges we are facing, in fact our tribes are facing, that also I want to share. So in my view, there are 4 or 5 ways to protect the indigenous culture of the tribal people. First thing is focus on their priorities. So yes, we are focusing now, of course, in the entire tribal area, in the world also, their basic things are Jal, Jabin, Jengil. So apart from that, health and education, and the third thing is infrastructure development. So these are all focused areas which I am focusing now, which we are in fact focusing now. Then include ingenious people in the discussion of the land usage. So under the newly, of course, this ROFR Act, we are implementing as per the direction of the Honorable CM. So recently we issued almost 1 lakh acres of land to the landless tribal people under ROFR Act. Apply the law to the ensure rights are protected, land rights are protected. Of course, we have 1/70 Act. So Act is there, but this implementation wise, we are lagging behind. And build public awareness. This is the one of the most important thing, and recognize the role in conservation and bridge the gap between the policy and practice. So in this aspect, we are I would not use the word failure, but we should more focus on this thing, policy versus practice, and encourage the state to fulfill the wider rights and learn from the stories of the progressive uh, uh, tribal groups. So here I want to share one experience. So of course, the many my principal secretary and so many people visited in that farm area. So nearby Paderu Mandal, one small village is there named D Gondoru. In that village, one small farmer is there, Mr. Appanna. We allotted 2 acres land to under RYFR. So in 2019, out of his interest and out of his passion, he worked hard and developed that land. And under this solar irrigation system, we allotted 1,16,000 rupees. Under that, we have given one small solar panel and 1 HP motor, and with the help of that, he cultivated nearly all the 2 acres of land, and he is now um, uh, planting almost all kind of crops, and now per year he is earning nearly 1,50,000 rupees. That is the success story of that Mr. Appanna story. And if we learn from these kind of stories, and I also inspired from him, and now we are proposing 110 such kind of units in the entire ITDA area to give more financial assistance to the poor tribes. So, and culture is the distinguishes of human from animals. Preservation of culture is essential for our identity. So tribal culture is one of them who show the unity of identity of tribal population in the nation. So of course, we have also in the ITDA Paderu also have a rich culture. So various dance forms are there. There are various festivals, and recently we concluded one of the biggest festival in the state festival, of course, Shri Modakondamma Talli festival. Under that, we showcase so many cultural attires and cultural activities. So that is the way of protecting the ways of protecting rights of the indigenous people, in my point of view. And we are taking up various activities. So the first activity is that Mission Connect Paderu. So the eve of World Tribal Day, we promised the tribes to connect all the unconnected habitation in the ITDA area, and as well as signal connectivity and electricity and drinking water. So after that, we conducted one survey, and basing on that survey, we identified nearly 648 unconnected habitations and 30 unelectrified villages and 310 non-drinking water facility villages. And of course, nearly 2,800 habitations there is no signal connectivity. So basing on that data, in the next 3 years, we are planning to connect all the villages by tapping all kind of funds, NREGS funds, CCDP, LW, SCA to LW, SCA to TSP, education infrastructure grant, all kind of funds. That is the road connectivity thing. And of course, we already sanctioned nearly 352 roads and at the length of 542 kilometers. It will cover around 600 habitations. So works are going on under NREGS material component and education infrastructure grant, and of course SCA to LW, some other grants. So then when it comes to this signal issue, so with the help of the Government of India and state government, we already sanctioned 84 towers, and as well as the another 651 towers also under survey. So if those towers would installed, then the signal problem also more or less resolved. And the third issue is unelectrified villages. So this unelectrified villages, we identified 30 already. Government also issued permission nearly 16 villages. And the important issue is that drinking water problem. So we are planning, of course, under Jal Jeevan mission, out of 31 villages, we already permissions given 210 villages. So works are going on. We are planning to establish more kind of, this gravity kind of system. We have so many streams and local canals and all. So using those, we are planning to connect through gravity system for drinking water. So this is the Mission Connect Paderu project. So then, of course, ROFR. So we are all know, recognize the rights of the forest dwelling scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers include the responsibility and authority. So Government of India enacted the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act, Recognition of Forest Rights Act in 2006. So it came into force on 29th December 2006. So the basic idea of this act is sustainable use of land, conservation of biodiversity, maintenance of ecological balance, strengthening the conservation regime of the forest, and ensuring their livelihood and food security. So, basing on these things, and we are all know that no one can look after their forest and environment better than the ethnic people, because their survival and identity depend on it. They are generally the best conservators and they have managed their cultivable lands for many generations. And ingenious people help protect our environment, fight climate change, and build resiliency to natural disasters. Yet too, their rights are always protected. So with these aims, we conducted nearly 8 DLCs, and we issued nearly 1 lakh acres of ROFR pattas. This is record, I can say, with the instruction of the Honorable CM. So with the last, I think, 1.5 years, we issued nearly 1 lakh ROFR pattas. We recognized their rights. And apart from that, not only mere giving the pattas, we are also planning to, develop their lands under using the NRGS, and also tapping the horticulture agriculture funds. We are also giving the plantation material, and also drilling the bores and everything. So that is the one more biggest development project. And of course this rights of their lands are going on. And in the health, we have 36 PHCs and 1 district hospital, and 2 area hospitals, 1 area hospital, and 2 CHCs. So before, I think, November 3rd, in any case, whether it is a pregnant woman case or any small surgery required or any case, the tribes, they should travel all the way from Paderu to Visakhapatnam. It will take around 3 to 3.5 hours journey. So there are so many instances where the that pregnant lady and that IMR MMR deaths noticed while traveling and all. So with this issue, we took a challenge with the support of the ex-collector, Mr. Mallikarjun sir, and myself, and we took a challenge, and we start the surgeries here only, DH Paderu, medium and smaller surgeries. So on November 3rd, from that November 3rd to now, we almost conducted nearly 600 odd surgeries. And recently we started eye surgeries also. So, and recently so many tribal people are coming to the district hospital. And in fact, I am happy to share that 4 tribal specialist doctors we appointed under NRHM, and we are giving 40,000 rupees from ITDA and also. So total package 2 lakhs rupees per month. And these girls from local tribes only. So those girls pursued the specialization, gynec specialization and pediatrician and all. So we appointed. So under with their support and help, we are able to do these kind of surgeries. And apart from that, we recently started 11 birth waiting homes. So basically the idea is that wherever the unconnected habitations is situated, wherever that pregnant lady is there, is residing in that village, they should come to this nearby pregnant women hostel prior to the 15 days of the EDD, so that we can take care each and everything, and we can see to that women should deliver in the hospital, and after delivery, basing on their health, we'll send them back. So that is the basic idea. So with the help of the Government of Andhra Pradesh and Department of Health and Family Welfare, of course, Department of Tribal Welfare. So we are giving food not only to that pregnant lady and their attendants also. So in that we started nearly 11. Before that, 3 are running. Total 14 birth waiting homes are running. And yearly, we conducted 11 mega medical camps in the entire ITDA area. So the basic idea is that wherever the medical facility, regular medical facility, not receiving the local tribes, we are focusing those areas, interior areas, and we are conducting mega medical camps in those areas, those pockets, in every 15 days. So nearly 11 such mega medical camps completed. So on that day, we are calling doctors from Vizag city, from reputed private institutions, private hospitals, with the help of the Arogyasri scheme. And with the help of the ITDA, we are providing food to doctors, patients, all staff on that day, drinking water, transportation facility, free medicals. And if anyone required this operation, surgeries and all, that also we are sending them to the Vizag city and wherever required. So that is also a biggest thing. And we are suffering the sickle cell anemia and thalassemia issue. So for that, blood is required. So we recently started the blood bank separate unit in Paderu area. So to tackle this blood availability of blood. So on that day, our ex-directors are also present, and he also very, very kind to donate the 3 units blood also. So nearly we collected 1,000 units, nearly 1,000 units of blood till now. Every week we are organizing the blood donation camps. That is the I think very important aspect here. So these are the some of the health related activities which we are taking up. And of course, recently government of Andhra Pradesh started sanctioned 500 crores of medical college. The works are also going on in a very fast mode. So if once that medical college completed, probably the dearth of doctors and all may be resolved. Then when comes to the education, so there are so many programs which we are conducting. So of course, so many programs covered our earlier speaker, Sir Veerabhadrudu sir. So we started, sir pointed out 2-3 issues. Why no tribe people are aspiring IAS or civil servants? So with that challenge, we are taking one initiative that we are giving free civil service coaching to nearly 60 interesting tribal unemployed graduate youth in Vizag city. So the basic thing is that to give free civil service coaching for period of 9 to 12 months. So we are bearing the food, and we are calling the faculty from the reputed institutions, Delhi, Hyderabad, and we are giving 3,000 per hour to that faculty, and free books and free material and Wi-Fi facility, and study hall facility also we provided. And we recently started that program, and we for this selection we offer this applications. We received many applications, nearly 1545 applications from the entire 11 mandals. So under that we filtered in screened in 3 times, and finally we selected, after prelims, mains and interview, we selected 60 students, and we are giving free civil service coaching. And I am very confident that in future, probably maybe after 2-3 years, from ITDA Paderu area, you will see a good number of civil servants. I am very confident, because that the quality we are giving and the interest they are paying and all. And every weekend, in fact, one of the civil servant is going to one of the civil servants are going to that location, and they are giving their messages also. So that is one thing we are taking up. And other things, we recently conducted this Giri Vijnana Sambaralu. So on that day, my ex-directors are also present, and in the that is the basically 3 days program. So the basic idea is that to showcase our cultural as well as our educational and sports events. And nearly we received 540 projects. And this cultural also we are conducting all the 3 days activities, and that was successfully completed. Then apart from this VDVKs, so of course there is a Government of India program, Vandan Vikas Kendras. So under this almost 128 VDVK sanctioned. So this the basic idea of this program is to give some kind of value addition to the local tribal products like honey and broomstick and adda leaf. All these things we have 12 such items identified, and in fact nearly we are almost running 48 such kind of VDVKs. So that is one of the important activity going on. Then after my joining, I am facing lot of issues with regard to the mobile Aadhaar's issue and banking. All the government programs and schemes which are going on in government of Andhra Pradesh through DBT. So for that, Aadhaar card is essential. So due to non-availability of the Aadhaar card, many tribals are excluding those welfare schemes. So what we planned was we introduced these mobile Aadhaar systems with the help of Tribal Welfare Department and Education Department, and we taken nearly 24 kits. So basically the mobile team will go to the interior village. They will conduct that Aadhaar updation and new Aadhaar registration in offline mode, and they will come back with the online area within 24 hours, and they will update. So basing on that, nearly we issued 30,000 of such biometric updation as well as new Aadhaar cards till now. So that program is going on. Now there is no Aadhaar issue here. And the same was mobile banking also. When I traveled in the interior areas, I identified many tribes, even though Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana started, non-availability of banking accounts. So due to that, many tribes are excluding that welfare benefit schemes. So we organized this mobile banking with the help of Velugu department, SSG groups, and nearly we opened 16,000 this banking accounts. And of course, coffee project. Coffee is the one of the backbone of the ITDA Paderu for the economic support of the tribes. So we are planning to extend 1 lakh acres of the project coffee plantation from 2016-17 to the 2024-25. So we almost covered 67,000 acres, and we will for the next 2 years we will cover the remaining also. Apart from that, we recently started this eco pulping units in Chintapalli. So that is conducting, operating and maintained by the local tribes only. So there is one mutual aided cooperative society. So we are planning to establish, we already planned, land also identified, under construction, 2 more such kind of eco pulping units in 2 mandals, GKVD and G Modula. Of course, agriculture, horticulture also very rich area. So we are extending this thing also to tap many programs. The final thing is tourism development. So ITDA Paderu basically known for tourist spots. Aruku, Tajangi, Vanjangi, this Lambasingi. There are so many Borra Cave, so many places. So under various activities, we are planning to develop all these tourism things, places to provide employment opportunity to the local tribes, as well as income to the ITD and government, and of course to more facilities to the visitors, tourists. So this in Pedalabudu, there is we started, not recently, we started this Girigrama Darsini also. That is also now successfully running. And in many areas, the local tribes only, they formed the societies, and they are all only running the tourist destinations. So these are all activities we are taking up for the development of the tribal people. And this is the, I am very happy to work here with very satisfaction. With this, I want to conclude all these things. Thank you very much for this opportunity to explain all these things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So now I would like to request Dr. G. Sunita ma'am, kindly give your thank of vote.
Yeah. It was very nice to hear from Gopal Krishna sir that you have initiated so many activities in your tenure with the help of your superiors as well as your government support. Right? I was very much delighted that you first focused on the connectivity of the tribes to the local governance that is related to whether it is electricity or mobile connectivity, water, road, whatever the different modes it is, but it is very good initiative, and it was another one which really I really appreciate you that utilization of your funds related to horticulture, and for any human being the most important one is health. You are focusing it on very much, and two aspects in this are very good initiatives. One is that like what do you call pregnancy, and in order to eradicate the death of the women during the pregnancy and the care you are taking for the reachability to the good hospital, it is very good initiative. And you were conducting weekly blood camp also is very impressive task that your government or your people have taken up. And not only these challenges, you had a challenge with Aadhaar and banking system, that also very good initiative, and I appreciate all the work done by you. And it is very good to hear from you that you people are working on all this rural tribal development and to protect their culture and all this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gopal Krishna sir. Right, over to you, Chauhan sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. With if you permit me, I will disconnect because I have some
I
other
request other
urgent
speakers
meeting.
for a while they can turn on the video. We can take a screenshot for our social media.
Yeah, some small questions are there for you also. Let me give the questions. First question is for Chakrabhushan Pandey, Chakrabhushan sir. Is there any conflict between Panchayat Raj system and tribal Gram Panchayat?
Traditional Gram Panchayat in tribal villages.
Yes sir.
No, this question you are asking to our which speaker? Please mention the name.
That is, I think Shashi Ranjan sir is not available, so we can ask Veerabhadrudu sir to answer. Can I request Veerabhadrudu sir to answer this?
This question is about the conflict between the traditional tribal
Panchayat Raj
leadership
system
and the panchayat.
and traditional Gram Panchayats.
Traditional Gram Panchayats and the Panchayat Raj institutions.
Yes.
Yeah, this has been a very important topic in the tribal studies in India. But after the introduction of Panchayat Raj extension to scheduled areas, the 1996 Act 40 of 1996 has tried to bridge that gap. Now the Gram Sabhas that are in the scheduled areas are mostly run on the lines of traditional Gram Panchayats only. And in most of the, even in the Panchayat Raj institutions also, it was the early days, it was the tribal leadership that has become the PRI leadership also. But the only difference is that in the traditional Gram Panchayat, there was no political rift, there were no political parties as such. It was the tribal leadership that has come traditionally. In the Panchayat Raj institutions, we have the political parties. Even though the village panchayat elections are run beyond party lines, but it is an evident fact that there are politics in the village panchayat. This is the only difference. But the traditional tribal panchayat, you have to see the spirit of the traditional tribal panchayat. The traditional tribal panchayat is active not in all tribal villages. It is very active in those villages which are homogeneous, where the entire village is consisting of one particular tribe. If there are two tribes, even there also the traditional tribal panchayat was not an active phenomena. So in a homogeneous, small sized tribal habitations, which are mostly PTG habitations, I think the Gram Sabhas under PISA are functioning with the spirit of the traditional Gram Panchayats only.
Sir, one more question to you, sir. Veerabhadrudu, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, sir. Why the government is not showing much interest in English medium initial days? Now they are introduced the English medium of instruction in these type of not only tribal but all in government schools. So, do you think that this would make a drastic change in the overall development of the students?
Which madam? English as medium of instruction?
Medium of instruction.
No, medium of instruction English.
Yeah, in the government schools. Initially, this was not there because whichever the state, the government schools are there, their local language. That is, if it is in case of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, it was a medium of instruction was Telugu. In Hyderabad, we used to have some Urdu schools like so. So now we are introducing English medium even in Telangana state. Model schools are developed. So would this bring a drastic change, or what is your opinion about this?
Ma'am, this is a highly contentious subject because when Andhra Pradesh has introduced English as medium of instruction in all government schools, there was a bill in Andhra Pradesh High Court, and the Honorable High Court has actually suspended the government orders on the grounds that Section 29 of Right to Education talks about education as far as possible through local language, through mother tongue actually.
Yes.
So mother tongue is a very interesting word because when the High Court has struck down the GOs, when the people have gone to court, everybody was thinking that mother tongue is a regional language. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, it is Telugu. But mother tongue for tribals is not Telugu. Mother tongue for tribals is not English. Mother tongue for tribals is their own dialect. But has the government been implementing education in the tribal mother tongue? No. Whatever experiments that I have been telling you earlier were experiments in a limited scale, and they were like it's like a small oasis in a big desert. So the tribals have been taught for the last 60, 70 years through the regional language only. So in such a case, the governments have violated even after 2009, even after the introduction of RTE, we have never prepared textbooks for tribal children in their own tongues. So which means we have actually violated RTE. But when we have introduced English here against Telugu, then people have gone to court, and the court has struck down our GO saying that they are against the spirit of RTE. But okay, we have gone to Supreme Court, and the case is in Supreme Court. So I would not make any comments on that. But we have to understand that in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana, I think around 45% of the total school-going children are in private schools, and most of the private schools are run in English medium. One of the major factors that prompted the parents to send their children to private schools has been the medium of instruction. The parents believe that English would definitely bring employability to their children. How far the private schools or government schools where English is a medium of instruction are able to perform, are able to fulfill the hopes of the parents is a different question. But we have conducted a study on the performance of schools in schools having Telugu as a medium of instruction and English as a medium of instruction. Madam, I would like to share a very interesting, very small insight, but which is very interesting. There are government schools which have both media, English and Telugu. So we have analyzed the marks secured by children in the subject of Telugu, that is mother tongue, in the subject of Telugu by the children who studied English medium vis-a-vis who studied in Telugu medium for the last, say, 5 years. So we didn't examine any other subject. We have taken only Telugu. The observation, the result is that children that have studied Telugu with English as medium of instruction have secured better marks in Telugu than those children that have studied Telugu with Telugu as medium of instruction. How do we explain this? How do we explain this? This looks like a paradox, how children are able to do better in Telugu when the medium of instruction is English.
Yeah,
This means, what I understood personally is, this means it has nothing to do with the medium of instruction. It has to do with the seriousness by which the teaching learning is taking place in an English medium. Somehow, the teachers, the parents, the society, the education officers, everybody would attach some kind of a seriousness if English is a medium of instruction rather than Telugu is a medium of instruction. As a student, as a high school student, I studied my high school classes with Telugu as my medium of instruction. I didn't study with English as medium of instruction, and I was a rank holder in 10th class examinations. And my school has given me a good amount of intellectual background, which I could have got even if I have studied in English medium schools, but not by studying English medium schools. What I would like to tell you is, I am not deprived of the learning outcomes that are possible for any student had he studied in English medium. So the issue is not with medium of instruction, it is about the seriousness with which we take up the teaching learning in these schools. And unfortunately, in the tribal areas, somehow the tribal schools are not given a serious thought by the governments. And even among the tribal schools running with Telugu medium are not really that serious in discharging their teaching learning transaction. And we have children admitted. There is a scheme called the Best Available School Scheme in Andhra Pradesh, which has been there for the last 30-40 years, where children are enrolled in the reputed English medium schools in the district, including Hyderabad public schools. And the experience has proven that children that have studied in these schools have fared better, with better, brighter career opportunities than the children that have studied in Telugu medium schools. So the issue is, again, I tell you, is not with the medium of instruction. It is with the seriousness with which you pursue. I have seen one school in one of the tribal districts of Andhra Pradesh, where the school is run with Sanskrit as medium of instruction. And the school has run excellently, exceedingly well. I consider that school as one of the best schools that I have seen in my life. So it's not the medium of instruction that actually contributes. It is the seriousness, it is the respect, it is the amount of devotion that we put on maintaining the school or running the school that makes a difference. So unfortunately, because parents believe that if English is medium of instruction, their children would get better education. So since it's a parental aspiration, the governments which come to power through the democratic process of voting, they would definitely give paramount importance in catering to the demand of the parents. And when we conducted a parental referendum in Andhra Pradesh, Madam, I have collected the parental options from 36 lakh mothers in the state, ma'am. I have collected physically 36 lakh papers, and 96% of the mothers have voted in favor of English as medium of instruction. That doesn't mean that English is a better medium of instruction. That's what I would like to say.
Yeah, I truly accept whatever you have said. It was very good discussion that we had. Chauhan sir, over to you.
Yes. So today it was very wonderful discussion with all the speakers. Speakers have shared their depth, knowledge, and experience about their own experience. They have led the tribal development program for developing the community. I think this will be very beneficial for the people who is working for the tribal community. This will be also beneficial for the research scholar, students, and educational institutes. So, on the behalf of Ministry of Education, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, National Coordinating Institute, IIT Delhi, we are thankful to Honorable Shri Shashi Ranjan Sir, DC Khunti, Shri Gopal Sir, ITDA Director, and Shri Veerabhadrudu sir, for your wonderful speech. And last but not least, Dr. G. Sunita ma'am, for your well coordination and wonderful moderation. Thank you so much. And IIT Delhi team. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste.